So here is the Orange OR15. Since it's kind of cool, I'm just going to unbox it. I know, I don't do this often, but you know, maybe this is worth it. I did do an unboxing for this thing, remember that? So, I know you're wondering, I'm like, dude, you got it? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's weird, right? I lost my job 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago, and I've bought all the stuff, bought more stuff now than before. See the double bass pedal back there, right? That whole thing costs like $160 plus the tower case. This is $864. Jesus. Fucking Christ. Alright. So, this should be cool. Let's see. Better be careful here, I don't want to cut myself. So this orange amp, the reason, you know, I bought it is because I just like the orange sound. You know how we talk about, you know, analog components? And then how I said, right? So it's probably going to take like a month or two to kind of for the tubes to break in, and you know what I mean? At first it's going to sound kind of, you know, very crisp, almost like when you know, change new strings, right? This is why I hate new strings. You want the sound of something that's, you know, been sort of, you know, worn in, right? So, okay, so it's box inside a box, and then here's another orange thing. Now, I ordered this from Amazon, so I can return it if I don't like it. So, I was thinking about getting the, looks like this is taped up. Right, taped up kind of, oh, it's an orange tape with orange, if you can see it. All right. And should I take this out of this box? So, like I said, if I don't like it, I can just, it's pretty heavy though. Son of a bitch. All right, let me just try it. Because I don't want, there's no way for me to easily lift it without, you know, or I'll have to like flip this and, you know, do this. Now, I was thinking about buying the Rocker 15 because that actually goes down to like 1 watt and 0.5. Two things why I didn't buy it is because, two reasons is that I don't like the metal casing. I kind of like the head format, you know, and it's got like gaping open spots, so I think dust is going to accumulate in there, right? Very easily. Because house dust gets in everywhere. House dust is, you know, right? It's all over the place. I want to be careful here. You know, this is a tube amp. So I want to keep all the stuff in case I need to return it. Almost exactly the way it is, so I can return it easily. Why would I return it? Well, if it's too loud for the bedroom, that's what it's going to be. Most people said that. Some people said this amp was actually useless because it's too loud for the bedroom and not loud enough to play with a band. But, like I said, Orange doesn't make a 1 watt amp, okay? Another box. This is like a Russian Meshuggah doll. Alright. And the thing with Amazon, if it ships from Amazon, is that you don't need to package it. I just have to take it to the UPS store. And that's it, they'll do it. Right. Okay. Alright. Now it's finally in here. That's the problem, you know, why would you bring in like a 100 watt amp in here, right? This is why we've been talking about the 1 watt philosophy, right? This thing, I can really crank it up. This is only 1 watt. The only reason for me to go to this amp is if I want to play stoner rock, Black Sabbath, that kind of, you know, kind of that gritty 70s kind of stuff, right? All right. Here's the power cord. Remember, these orange amps have that power cord issue. That's why I didn't want to go for that, you know, the metal casing one. Because if you watched the channel before, I already returned like 2 items from Orange because the harness that secures this plug, right, is not good enough in those metal casings. So I'm hoping it'll be different here. Having blown up 2 of those amps and returned it. Hopefully I'll be better at it. I just like this anyway. You know, some people order this in black, and I'm like, why would you order it in black? This is so cool. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We got a thick manual here. Probably in every language. Yeah, it's in every language. And you'd have to hunt for... And English is like the funniest thing. Sometimes it's the first one. Sometimes it's like the last thing. Okay. I think it's just like 2-3 pages, but then it's like in every possible language. All right, that's pretty much it. That's all we got. A power cord, the amp itself, the head itself, excuse me. All right. There you go. OR15. All right. Slightly heavier than the Marshall 1 watt 50th anniversary. I always find this funny. Inspected by, and then it has like 2 people on here. That's exactly what the other one said. And it's still stocked. I don't want to remove this in case I have to return it. Okay? Unfortunately, this goes to 7 watt. 7 watts is loud, right? But I read a lot of stuff on here. I can barely hold it. It's that heavy. So 7 watts is loud. But I read a lot of, this is what you've got to do. You got to read the reviews. You got to read the Reddit threads. So a lot of people said that it can be bedroom friendly. I'm guessing I won't be able to turn it up past 1. But as I said, they don't make a 1 watt tube amp. And I was just like, and it hurt me so much to spend $864 on this plus tax. I was like, shit, I just lost my job. And I've spent over $1,000 on shit already, you know. But I figured, well, I'll talk about the philosophy of it later. I'm probably not going to be spending too much more money. Within the last year, I've spent so much money. I spent a grand on this thing. This is the only thing I've ever bought that's like used, I think, as far as amplifiers. This costs like, over a grand. The double bass pedal costs like 160 or 180. Now this thing costs $864. I could have bought this used, but even used is going for $560. So I just figured, well, so hopefully you can, see, that's the thing, 15 watts of this. I think you can play with a band if you crank this up, and if you don't get a drummer that's like, that beats the shit out of the drums, you could probably play with this, I think. Because I'm not doing this for the headroom. All we're interested in is the crunch, because we're into like stoner rock, Black Sabbath kind of stuff. So as long as you don't have somebody who beats the shit out of the drums, right? This might be okay. Unfortunately, this is the only option, All right, there it is. It fits perfectly on top of the Marshall. I was kind of, hoping that it wouldn't be too wide, I plugged it in. It's ready to go. I know what you're thinking, that, oh wait, you're connecting to a Marshall cabinet. So anyway, here's the deal with that. Remember I was telling you how cabinets have an engineering, right? It's acoustically engineered. I can't talk today, sorry. I'm excited. It's acoustically engineered. And then remember like the video where we put in a Heritage speaker in here, right? So when I opened that up, I didn't mention this to you, but when I opened this up, I was expecting like all kinds of acoustic, craziness. Because I was like, oh shit, a Marshall cabinet, sounds like a Marshall. And all it was a box with the speaker in it. So unfortunately, there's nothing really that great about this. All it is a box. There's no special Marshall engineering. I didn't see any acoustic, you know what I mean, phenomena that, baffles or, anything weird or anything else like that. All it is this thin piece of grill, and that's pretty much it. You just screw the speaker in. Literally nothing else. It's just a wooden box, right? You could basically build this on your own by just getting the empty box and then putting in the speaker. That's pretty much it. So acoustically, I don't think it's that different. Now, Marshall cabinets versus Orange cabinets. Maybe there's something in Orange cabinets. I don't know. But they put the Vintage 30 on there, right? The Vintage 30 is a speaker that's good, but this is better because these are like right, Celestian greenbacks. This is kind of what was used for, like, probably Hell Awaits, early Metallica, anything before 1984, right? Probably this speaker. So this is going to be good, right? So it shouldn't make that much of a difference having an Orange cabinet versus an Orange like a Marshall cabinet. As I said, there's nothing here except it's just a wooden box with a speaker on it. That's it. To my surprise, I thought it was going to be like, dude, Marshall engineering, there's probably all kinds of cool shit in there. There's really nothing in there. So the only difference that we need to think about is open back and close back. Remember, we talked about this before, where close back, it's good for like chuggy tightness if we're going to go there. Here, I basically bought this just for like stoner rock, but even here, we got like, right, that's probably all the amount of chug we're going to do here. Like in rhythm, maybe that fast. Usually it's just like, All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. So this is probably going to take a few months to kind of, maybe 3 months to kind of warm up. But when you first turn it on, it's going to be super, kind of clanky. You know what I mean? Super over bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. It's kind of weird that the on goes down. You think on switches. See, the Brits are always weird. Everything is backwards over there, right? You flip it on, right? Here you have to pull it down to flip it on. And then here what it is that the middle is standby. And then you have 7 watt and 15 watt, right? 7 watts is a lot. And then all of these are set at 0 right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it on. Okay? Good. Didn't explode. So I'm just going to let it warm up. So I'm actually just going to go take a shower, shaving. So, all right, guys, I think we're ready to go. This thing's actually been on for about 40 minutes. This took longer than I expected because I was trying to find a clean shirt, and then I had to wear this again. Not that I'm into surfing or anything, but, it's just a t-shirt. So, that someone got me. So, yeah, let's try it out. I tuned up the guitar just so that we can, have like a good clean sound that's actually in tune. All right, so here we go, I guess. 7 watt mode. All right, and then everything's at 0. So I'm gonna put this stuff kind of at 5s, I guess. That's the rule of thumb, is you start out at 5. So I'm going to guess that you can barely turn it up past 1. So let me put it to 1. And then I'll put the gain all the way up to about 7. Let's see how that sounds. Here we go. Here we go. I could work with this volume. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to turn up louder than this. All right. I guess it wasn't really at 5. Sorry. So let's try that again at 5. I guess it works. Okay. I christen thee worthy of Black Sabbath and worthy of me playing. Sounds all right. Again, first impressions, you get that tube wetness, right? You get that wetness of that tube. So we don't know. I don't think the manual says anything about, let me see. Let me get the manual. All right, here's the manual here. That's a thick manual. Jesus. It's probably got like every single language there is. Okay. And what it has to say, it's probably like within the first page. All right, starts out in Danke.u Orange Gistic Het. Okay, I don't know that language, so I'm not sure what that is. I think that means thank you for choosing Orange. Since 1968, when the company was founded, Orange amplification has been researched and developed by the guitarist for the guitarist. Today, with the team of the industry's most dedicated engineers, we continue to push back the boundaries. Conventional amp design, okay, all right. Important safety instructions. Read these instructions, keep these instructions. I mean, literally, the thing is that it won't really say much here. Warning. For Class 1 equipment, this product is Class 1 construction, must be connected to a main socket outlet. All right? Information on fuses. T equals time delay slow blow. And then it just talks about, low breaking capacity, high breaking capacity. So it's about fuses. Do not tamper with the voltage selector switch. I guess this is a good one where you can just, I think you can just select it to be like, American versus British. I think this is made in China, right? This is made in China? I should have looked at that. I don't know, it doesn't say here, but I'm pretty sure it's made in China. So the British one probably costs a lot more money. This, however, this is all Brit, right? This is all Brit. That's why it costs that much. Okay, to reduce the risk of electric shock, okay, valves, tubes, if applicable. So I guess this is like a universal manual, right? It's not even written specifically for this. It says if applicable. So it's just a boilerplate kind of shit. Okay, that's really it. It's like 3 pages, and then it's repeated in like every single language known to man. Jesus Christ, it's even in Indian. Wow, I should get my wife to read it. She may not even be able to read it. She knows Hindi. I do not. All right, so yeah, it's like 3 pages of information repeated like a billion times. All right, so no EQ settings anyway. All right. Okay, so you get that nice kind of creamy sound, right? Nice, nice. So again, this is a very cheap guitar, and I've had a lot of issues with the kind of the tuners and stuff, right? To where it won't really stay in tune and things, and so it's probably not the best representation. If if I had like a $500 guitar, this would probably sound better. This area right here always sounds kind of weird in this guitar. Let's see what happens if I scoop out the mids. That could be a riff right there. So it sounds like I can actually turn it up a little bit more. I can't see where that is. I don't know if you can, from this side, I don't know where the notch is. That's probably as loud as I can go. Let me actually turn it down a little bit. You may not be able to hear it, just the way the microphone is set up, but that's pretty loud here. To where I'm sitting right here. So, yeah, that's good enough for me to work with now. So it gives you that kind of hollowed out sound. Of course, you can control it here too. Now, I may still return this. I could return it, so I don't know. I like that chug right there. That sounds sick.